Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. With multiple visa issues affecting the state of play in the Americas region right now for Loud and most certainly for Sentinels, big questions raised to Sentinels Curry. Will he be ready to step into the team on Sunday against 100T if that is required? Curry says, well, we haven't necessarily practiced so much yet, but he is ready to step in if Johnqt can't get to the US in time. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. First of all, thought this is kind of interesting here. VCT, team capsules, EMEA, top selling ones. We're going to discuss Fnatic actually in a few minutes time because there's some things to say on Boaster for sure, but yeah, they are winning right now for March 2024, the best selling VCT team capsules. Speaking of that though, Viper. We talked the other day that there were rumours going around that Viper's smokes lasted for not as long as they previously did, and that was then debunked because people looked back at the previous patches and said, well actually no, yes, they're meant to be 15, but actually it's more like 13 and a bit because they have to be activated and deactivated, and that was kind of the going theory. And people compared this patch update versus the last one versus the one before that and said, yeah, nothing has changed, so it's just placebo or whatever. Turns out though, it did change. It did used to be 15, now it's more like 13 seconds for the smokes, but this shipped unintentionally back in 7.09, which is a patch update that I believe came out right at the end of October, start of November. We're talking 6 months ago, and nobody has noticed this until effectively last week, that Viper's smokes duration were nerfed 6 months ago, and nobody really noticed until very recently indeed. So it used to be 15, now it's 13, but the reality is nobody really noticed, nobody really cared, and Viper absolutely kept being a meta agent in the game. So now they're doing patch 8.08, obviously a very long time later, and they're now saying, well, this is actually a preview of what we're planning to do anyway. So it feels like this was planned for some time. They just released it way earlier than they intended to, and now they're saying that, well, we never intentionally did this, but Viper has proven to be such a dominant force in the meta, even with her smoke duration reduction, that we will not be reverting the changes, which, yeah, makes sense, right? Because if they made Viper even better, I don't know if that's a good idea either. So, yeah, just funny, isn't it, how it works? That this has been the case now for 6 months and nobody knew until basically last week. There's also talk about, should they nerf Cypher? Like, what else should they do with the meta right now? And therefore talk on whether Clove as an agent is going to be viable from that controller agent perspective. Boaster reckons no, and we'll discuss in a second. Certain teams as well, I'm sure, would like to see something as the following. There's been lots of talk about when they're going to change the map pool, because they probably will do it again before the end of the season. I would expect them to change something before Champions. I guess we'll see. Vanity says, get rid of Breeze, put Haven back in. Get rid of Icebox, bring Pearl back in. Assuming, really, that we think, I imagine, that Riot are making some changes to those maps that they have currently removed from the pool. ValoRantel says differently. He reckons maybe minus Breeze plus Haven, minus Icebox plus Fracture. I'm down for Icebox to go. I never liked the map. Maybe that's a hot take. Not a big fan of it. I'm not sure the changes they made it any better, personally. So we'll see. But obviously, theoretically, they're working on Haven, Fracture, Pearl, some changes to improve those maps. And maybe if they arrive in due course, we might see something about this. Also, they wanted to mention what Boaster and Yintu had to say on the podcast they did yesterday, discussing how things are going into EMEA, because that region starts today in just a couple of hours. But these are some takeaways. Haven't got the chance to listen to all of this yet. I may talk about it, of course, in more detail tomorrow, depending on what happens. But just a few notes here that Salty McNulty took from Boaster's side of this podcast. Pretty interesting, actually, to hear, because Fnatic weren't there in Madrid. They didn't qualify. They lost to Carmine Corp when they needed to win. But having watched the games, Boaster doesn't actually believe that the competition was especially strong. He reckons that the competition, the level of play wasn't especially high. He reckons they would have beaten everyone, including Gen.G and Sentinels, had they qualified. So quite the statement there. And we'll see what Fnatic deliver when the season starts, because at least for them, unlike Sentinels, they've got their full strength team ready to go for the opening games. He reckons that Gen.G have very good players, they're hard hitters, but they don't have an especially deep playbook, so you can expose them in a longer series. He also says that FUT Esports could be formidable, and he likes 100T. 100T is going to qualify for Shanghai, or at least they're going to make the playoffs. So he's pretty high on this 100T team, and we will get a real test for how they're going to do this Sunday when they play Sentinels. Also believing that Clove isn't necessarily good for anything outside of ranked. So we'll see what other teams decide to do on that one. But yeah, 100T going to qualify for Shanghai is quite the same. And honestly, depending how things go in the very near future, how are Sentinels going to fare in this situation? And the same story with Loud. Teams that made it deep at Masters Madrid have therefore, based on the timing it seems, struggled to get visas reapproved to get back to the Americas. They will have a slower start, you would think, to the regular season. They should still be good enough to qualify for the playoffs and therefore probably qualify for Shanghai. But that is going to be a challenge. And if their Masters Madrid qualification and success results in them in some effect not making it to the next tournament, that is going to be devastating for all involved. So that's what we're going to dive into here now. Also from the Masters Madrid vlog, some quality investigative journalism here from Luna Avast, looking at what the composition was that Sentinels are running there on Ascent. And I guess you got to wonder whether 100T are going to be looking at this and thinking, all right, maybe they're going to try something like that in this weekend's game. But this, of course, is the big game for this upcoming weekend in some regard. And will Sentinels have Johnqt in time? That is the big question. But it's not just about Sentinels here, it's also about Loud. And arguably Loud are in a far worse position because the understanding is that that entire team right now is stuck out there in islands. Now you might wonder, why are they in islands? But it seems to me that Brazilian players need to get their visa renewed every like 3 months or so, something like that. And you can do that at a US embassy somewhere. Depending on what country you happen to be in, the appointments you can get often can be easier in certain countries. So I've known people fly to Italy, fly to Ireland, whatever it takes to go to the respective embassy earlier than otherwise might be the case. So yeah, it seems like the entire Loud team, all the Brazilian guys on that roster, are currently stuck in islands trying to get this visa situation sorted. Sanak is over there in LA ready to go, and he said that, yeah, until the boys get here, it's going to be a big struggle. And Toys as well, in replies to Quick, just says, yeah, we're basically crying together. Let's go cry together. Something like that, because it clearly ain't going so well. And the crazy thing is that Loud have their in-game leader, but like nobody else. Whereas Sentinels have everybody else but no in-game leader. So there's been naturally some jokes about, well, maybe Sentinels sub in Sanak. And then maybe for Loud, they just sub in all the Sentinels guys and play with Sanak there as well. They do some sort of collaboration. I don't think that's going to work, but yeah, hopefully we get some updates from the Loud guys soon, because the match has started just a couple of days, and the same is true for Sentinels. Tens revealed this now a couple of days ago that Sen haven't practiced since Madrid. Johnqt stuck out there in Morocco. Curry would be the man to step in.
Reach or Sky?
What you want more?
Guys, okay, boys, listen. You know, at first I was upset. I didn't have my visa and shit, but you know, sometimes you gotta count your blessings, and I've been very blessed this past few weeks. So you know, a little trip in the road. I might miss the first game, I might not, but it's okay, you know. You gotta keep positive. You gotta be PMA. It's all good. It might be a blessing in disguise. You never know. You never know. It's not meant to be. If I miss the game, I miss the game. If not, you think so?
Yeah, I played a bunch of Clove.
Such is life.
Not like I was restricted from streaming, but I think I've dealt with everything today. I can stream now. Don't have any obligations. What is up? Are you in a call center right now? No, I am not in a call center right now. I'm at the Sentinel's office. I'm here for a week. I'm here for a week. At Curry, are you replacing Johnqt in VCT? Everyone keeps asking this, bro. No, this is... I am not replacing him in VCT. As of right now. The situation is an ongoing situation. And we will play it. We will figure out what the situation is closer it gets to the match date. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, right now I'm here in the office, but... Can be anything. I feel like it's not confirmed that I'm playing on Sunday, but I'm here and I'm ready to play in case it comes down to it. Simple answer.
So Curry says that he's ready. Johnqt says that, well, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. I've just got to bide my time and hope the US Embassy in Morocco gets this sorted ASAP, because if they don't, it's going to be in a difficult time, right? And this I thought was pretty funny from 100T. Us to the Moroccan Embassy, like, hey, can you just hold off on this Johnqt thing so we can get the win this weekend? Then feel free to grant his visa, and then he can return after that one. So, you know, there's been some entertaining tweets on the matter. But as Johnqt says, hello, Johnqt here. Anyone want to save me and duo queue with me in EU ranked? Both teams will be in my stream, but I have a delay because, yeah, he's stuck over there for now. And as Sentinel say, hey, US Embassy in Morocco, how many likes do we need to for you to sign his visa in time for our game on Sunday? And Pokimane, of course, also Moroccan. Who do I need to talk to? So if Pokimane was somehow to come through here with the contact at the embassy, I don't know, to get this expedited so they could get Johnqt in there ASAP, that would be quite the timeline. But it's interesting, right? Curry will be stepping in. There was also discussions from Zekan, I believe, that they haven't practiced at all, because I guess their hope is that Johnqt will get there in time. But my feeling tends to be that whenever these visa situations happen, they're always more complicated. They always tend to take longer than otherwise might be the case. And maybe SEN can get this sorted in time. But they are running out of days now, and they might have to accept that scrimming a couple of days with Curry before their game against 100T might be worthwhile. Because if they turn up to the 100T game with no practice and no in-game leader, like, what are they going to do? Surely they must have some sort of backup plan here. We talked about it yesterday that Curry will not be in-game leading. He'll be a gap filler. You know, I would put my money on Sassy and Zelsis to kind of either share the responsibility or Sassy to do most of the calling. I don't know. But surely a couple of days of scrims of practice might be worthwhile with Curry, just in case this is an actual occurrence. But Curry says, yeah, I'm there, I'm ready to execute when you need me, and that is quite possibly going to be the case. So very much into your thoughts in the comments below. Just final thing to mention here. These are the weeks for the regular VCT leagues around the world. This is what Will might have put together. Pretty interesting that it varies so significantly, because they actually play a different number of games each week here between the Americas and between the other teams. So it's obviously Sunday that the Sentinels guys kick off against 100T. But yeah, Americas has 5 games per week, which means one team in the 16 group will not play each week. They'll have a 10-match super week in week 3 to finish the stage in 5 weeks. EMEA plays 6 games per week, so one team in the 5-team group plays twice per week. They don't have a super week. So, you know, fair enough, I guess. It just makes it a bit complicated to understand what's going on and to keep up with when, you know, the matches are kind of all over the shop. Pacific plays 8 matches per week and 6 matches in the final week, so they'll finish in 4 weeks instead of 5. But yeah, this is what it looks like, and of course it starts in very short order. The EMEA region starts today, and then of course the Americas and elsewhere kicks off over the coming days. So very much intrigued your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.